जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिविचार्य His Divine Grace Abhay Channaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Anand Koti Vaishnavrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवसति गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवदीप धाम की श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी की यमुना माई की श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bir Krishna Goswami Niti Namne Namo Ham Sarnikashaya Prabhupada Priyate Sruddashti Nishta Bemtasya Vakyanuvadine. Okay, good morning and Hare Krishna. Welcome to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class, ISKCON Sydney, Australia, and welcome to all our online viewers on Mayafood TV and ISKCON Sydney YouTube, as well as Facebook. So this morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, which is titled The Glories of Devotional Service. And we are reading from text number 9. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay. Ya Adyo Bhagavan Pumsham Ishvaro Vai Bhavan Kila Lokasya Tamasandhasya Chakshu Surya Ivoditaha Ya Adyo Bhagavan Pumsham Ishvaro Vai Bhavan Kila Lokasya tamasandasya Chakshu surya ivoditaha. Yadyo Bhagavan Pumsam Ishvaro Vaibhavan Kila Lokasya tamasandasya Chakshu Surya Ivoditaha. Ya Adyo Bhagavan Pumsam Ishvaro Vaibhavan Kila Lokasya Tamasandasya Chakshu Surya Ivoditaha. Ya Adyo Bhagavan Pumsham Ishvaro Vaibhavan Kila lokasya tamasandasya chakshusurya iva doditaha. Okay? Yeah. He who, Adya, the origin, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Pumsham, of all living entities, Ishvara, the Lord, Vai, in fact, Bhavan, you, Kila, indeed, Lokasya, of the universe, Tamasa, by the darkness of ignorance, Andhasya, blinded, Chakshu, eye, Surya, the sun, Iva, like, Uditaha, risen. So we've got the translation and the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So the translation for this verse reads, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin and supreme of all living entities. You have arisen, or is it arisen, to disseminate the rays of the sun in order to dissipate the darkness of the ignorance of the universe. So we can all repeat, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin and supreme Lord of all living entities. You have arisen to disseminate the rays of the sun in order to dissipate the darkness of ignorance of the universe. Okay, so the purport, Kapil Muni is accepted as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Here the word Adya means the origin of all living entities, and Pumsham Ishvara means the Lord Ishvara of the living entities. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Kapil Muni is the direct expansion of Krishna, who is the sun of spiritual knowledge. As the sun dissipates the darkness of the universe, so when the light of the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes down, it at once dissipates the darkness of Maya. We have our eyes, but without the light of the sun, our eyes are of no value. Similarly, without the light of the Supreme Lord, or without the divine grace of the spiritual master, one cannot see things as they are. So that's a very good purport we have today. So Mangal Charan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadtikam. Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Raghunath Kanvitamscha, sorry. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we've got a very classic shloka here this morning. We recite it always in the Mangal Charan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. That shlok is very well described in today's shloka, that verse. It's telling us that there is a darkness of ignorance and it can be dissipated by the light of the Supreme Lord. And then right at the end of this purport, without the divine grace of spiritual master, one cannot see things as they are. So whenever we recite Om Ajnana Timirandasya, we offer our respectful obeisances unto our spiritual master who has enlightened us with the torchlight of knowledge while we were blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So we are all sitting here in every class, basically every day, to be enlightened because we are all in the darkness of ignorance. So the very basis of why we do classes, any classes, Bhagavad Gita, scriptural classes, is to dissipate the knowledge. Dissipate the darkness through knowledge. And it's very clearly mentioned here, Kapil Muni, he is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. And he came here to do exactly the same thing. So this morning, while I was actually preparing for this class, this 4:30 in the morning, this morning, I was thinking of giving you a perspective of what Srila Prabhupada has done for us, or has set certain guidelines on who a guru should be, how a guru is, what is the functionalities. And the guru actually functions as a representative of Lord Krishna. So basically, in the absence of Lord Krishna physically standing in front of us and giving us direction like he is doing to Arjun in the Mahabharata, who do we have? We have a bona fide spiritual master who is a representative of Lord Krishna. So I was listening to, obviously I need guidance also for this subject matter. So I listened to a class given by my own spiritual master and I wrote some notes down. So I will give that to you. Before I do that, I will quote, before I go into his class, I will quote a very famous, extremely famous verse in the Bhagavad Gita. And that Bhagavad Gita verse is from chapter 4, text 7, and we all know this verse very well. It's called Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Apyuthanam Adharmasya Tadatmanam Shri Jamyaham. So it says here, whenever or wherever there is a decline in religious practice, this is Lord Krishna saying, whenever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise in irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So why does he descend himself? Because we don't know. We don't have the knowledge. He's the only one with the truth knowledge, the knowledge of truth. So he descends himself. And in this instance, he did that as Kapil Muni. And the reason why he does that is because we don't know. And why don't we know? My spiritual master actually enlightened that, clarified that very clearly in his class. He said that all the living entities we don't know because we have these 4 defects. All living entities have 4 defects, without exception. In other words, you, me, him, her, anyone have these 4 defects. One of them, I guess some of us know, one of them is we commit mistakes by nature. Secondly, we are in illusion. Thirdly, we have a propensity to cheat. And what's the last one? We have imperfect senses. Our senses are imperfect. So because of these 4 defects in our nature, we forget, we don't know what is the knowledge, what is the truth, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what our purpose in life is, what we are supposed to do. We lose our direction completely. And that is not the only reason. So I'm actually giving the reasons why we need Lord Krishna to come down and tell us what is right and what is wrong. Firstly, because of those 4 defects. Secondly, it's because of the 3 modes of material nature. We are under illusion obviously, and we are in some sort of mode of nature. So we might be in ignorance, we might be in passion. And as a result, we are engaged in material life more than spiritual life. And our goal, usually, obviously, is to be channeled towards a spiritual life, spiritual progress. So another reason is that we are under the three modes of material nature. And another reason, which my spiritual master gave us, which is a very interesting one, but it's a very obvious one, is because we don't want to know. It's our internal desire to forget Krishna. So Krishna facilitates us. He gives us the ability to forget him because we want to, and we want to be independent. So these are the reasons why we forget what is dharma, what is spiritual life, and that's the reason why Krishna is to come down, because we have the four defects of nature, all living entities, and then we are under some kind of mode of nature. We could be in a mixture, we could be in mode of passion and ignorance mixed together. Even mode of goodness too, we have to transcend that and come to a transcendental mode of nature. So we are under those things. And then thirdly, our desire. We don't want to know. So Krishna comes down. He gives us knowledge according to our desire. So, you know how he was saying that we have got the propensity to cheat, defects. Actually, Krishna, it comes from Krishna, the propensity to cheat. He's the greatest cheat of all. He says that in the Bhagavad Gita. There's a special verse dedicated in the Bhagavad Gita to say, I'm the cheat of all cheats. So he cheats us too. That's why we have the propensity to cheat. And so we want to be the boss, or be ignorant. And basically, my spiritual master said in his class, and it's from the Srila Prabhupada, we are not bosses, we are the servants. That is our constitutional nature, to be servants. Servants of who? Servants of Krishna. Servants of our spiritual master. And interestingly enough, he said, if you are anything else, or if you try to be anything else, you will never be happy. Actually, our happiness lies in service of Krishna. There is ecstasy and bliss. Ask any devotee who is competing for service over here. They compete for cooking for Krishna, or even something small like cleaning or serving. If that service is taken away from them, they will be in deep depression. They'll go in depression. It's true. Someone here was offering Aarti to Srila Prabhupada, and they were checked, so they had bit of a break because they were chastised or checked. And they went into a very emotional state, because for them, Aarti for Srila Prabhupada was the best service they could ever do. It was the reason they come to the temple. It is the reason they start the day. It is the reason they do everything. So something like that. So we have to be very careful, actually, in order to, what somebody might say, oh, well, you do this service all the time, give me a chance. You don't know, you're breaking the heart of the devotee. Because they are the servant. They're in a service mode, some mood of service, and it's very difficult for them to leave that service, because for them that service is their life and soul. So removing a service from a person, you never know you are removing their life and soul. The example that my Gurudev gave, I haven't even begun to read the notes, but he gave this example of Srila Prabhupada. He's a disciple of who? Srila Prabhupada? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, yes. So one day he was, Gurudev says that Srila Prabhupada didn't have so many associations, physical association with his spiritual master, just a few. Within that few associations, in this one, he was walking around Radhakund with his spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada was walking with his spiritual master, and he was told, if you ever have any money, what will you do with the money? Print books and distribute them. That's what he was told. That was the instruction. And Srila Prabhupada took this instruction as his life and soul, very life and soul. And at the age of 70, in 1965, he went to America and printed books and distributed. And today, The ISKCON is like legendary, and our religion picked up faster than any other religions established in this world, given a few years. So the point was taking the instructions and taking devotional service as your very life and soul. And that was the key. So why am I talking about all this? Well, we are on the subject of enlightenment. Like we have this, we need to be enlightened because we are in a mode of darkness, or well, in the darkness of ignorance. So in order to do that, we need to have some spiritual knowledge. We need to be told. Because we have the defects, we don't know. So somebody comes to tell us. So Srila Prabhupada has given us this knowledge from where? Actually, Gurudev says Srila Prabhupada is not ordinary. He comes from the spiritual kingdom. He is not ordinary. He was told, that was his service. You come down, and he made a joke. He said it depends on whether he's coming down or he's going down. Depends on which perspective you look at. From his perspective, he's going down to planet Earth. And from our perspective, it's coming down. Because we've been here for so long, everything is coming down. We're never going up. So he was told to come down. And it was the knowledge that was given to us by Krishna himself in an unbroken disciplic succession. In other words, we did not have our chain broken anywhere. And the chain is probably as strongest as the weakest link. So this knowledge was given to, it's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, this knowledge was given to the sun god. What's his name? Vivaswan. And then he gave it to Manu. And then Lord Brahma also received it. And then Madhavacharya. And then coming down to all of us. So in an unbroken chain of disciplic succession, it's got to be bona fide. So I'm going to read some notes about, first of all, choosing a guru, who should be a good guru. Because there are many people out there who are, they come across bogus gurus, and we need to know the mark in the, like if you want to know what is a good guru. Well, we have Srila Prabhupada here, we see him every day. So we know he's bona fide. But now that he's not physically with us, he is present with us in his words, in his books, in the DT form. But suppose we are to approach a spiritual master, what are the marks? So I'll read from some of the notes that I've written down. So first of all, what is the meaning of a guru? Guru is someone who's very heavy with what? Spiritual knowledge. So first of all, the guru has to have spiritual knowledge. No one better than Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's books, we read forever. We can read for the lifetime. So many books for the rest of our lives. And we'll still continue reading. So that's spiritual knowledge. And not only is he filled with spiritual knowledge, he practices. So he practices what he preaches. He practices this spiritual knowledge. He actually does it. That means guru. Now another meaning of guru was teacher, one who teaches. What does he teach? A spiritual guru, he cuts through illusion. So that's another meaning of a guru. One who cuts through illusion with a chainsaw of what? Transcendental knowledge. One who cuts through illusion with the chainsaw of transcendental knowledge. Here he gave example of our acharyas from our sampradaya, and I'll let you guess who was the lion guru, who's known as the lion guru. Yes, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And the reason he was known as the lion guru was he had a very good strategy of cutting through illusion. He used to go and grab those Mayavadis. Mayavadis are those people with philosophies who are from here and there. or preaching things that are not really the truth, not proper knowledge. He would literally grab them by the collar. He was tall. He would literally grab them by the collar. He would challenge them and cut through illusion just like that. So that is another meaning of guru, is one who cuts through the illusion and gives you the actual knowledge. And another one is a guru. He sets a good example. That's a bona fide guru. You lead by example. So, like, there are many people out there who say, don't do this. I've done it and I know. For example, smoking. They'll be smoking. I'll say, don't smoke. It's bad for health. But they're smoking. That's not the mark of a good teacher or a guru. If a guru says don't smoke, it means he also does not smoke. I mean, that's a small example. Our gurus don't smoke. But someone who practices what they preach. In other words, somebody who strictly follows the regulative principles, does the chanting, that's bona fide. One who is a representative of Krishna, that's bona fide. One who is practicing devotional service 24/7, that's a bona fide guru. Somebody who is actually practicing devotional service. So a guru leads by example. He does prachar, which is by speech. And the other one is achar, by acting. So by speech and by behavior. In other words, a guru cannot be a hypocrite. So those are some marks of a guru. Why am I describing all these things? That we know the right person to dissipate the darkness so that we get the knowledge. That the knowledge that Krishna came to in the beginning to enlighten us. So, and a guru is a representative of Krishna. And what are the symptoms? The symptoms, first of all, he comes in a disciplic succession. There are 4 disciplic successions, as you know. Lakshmi, Rudra, the Kumar, and Brahma. We are from Brahma Sampradaya. So it's got to be bona fide, from one of the 4. That's the symptom of the disciplic succession, and must have thoroughly heard from his spiritual master. That's a guru. So Srila Prabhupada, as you know, he thoroughly heard from his spiritual master. He's full of knowledge. I mean, there's no one. Actually, in this class, Gurudev mentioned Lord Nityananda had prophesied that someone like Srila Prabhupada was coming. He was told. Yeah. And so had Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we knew that Srila Prabhupada was coming. So he must have heard perfectly from his spiritual master. Secondly, he is a perfect devotee. So your guru has to be a perfect devotee, and also that means he's also a perfect disciple. Is a perfect disciple of his spiritual master. Then he can be a perfect guru. And he serves Krishna by practicing his message. So the question then I'll put forward to you: how does the guru know what Krishna's message is? What is the message? How does the guru know? It's called, that terminology that's often quoted in my spiritual master's classes, epistemology, which means how do you know what you know? So how does the guru know what he knows? Shastra? Yes. Shastra, his own guru from the disciplic succession. In other words, he does not make up his own philosophy. That's the guru's words. He does not make something up. It comes from the right source, the Shastra. And the Shastra has been given directly by God, by Lord Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Krishna. So that's the message he preaches, as it is. And the knowledge comes directly from God through what is called the disciplic succession, which we just talked about. The guru must be a servant of his guru. And what does disciple mean? He must be a disciple of his guru. What does disciple mean? Yes. Yes, it does. And it means discipline, right? Discipline by the guru. That's what disciple means. So if you are somebody's disciple, you have been disciplined by a guru. That's what disciple means. So that's the job of the guru. And the disciple has an eternal relationship with the spiritual master, for sure, 100%. I have this personal knowledge by realization. Sometimes I share that. I hadn't met my spiritual master. Obviously, didn't know when I didn't know he existed. I didn't even know his name. I just started coming to Krishna consciousness. Never seen him in my life. Never heard of his name. So I thought. And in my dream, Lord Krishna said, we were driving in a car, Lord Krishna was there. I think it was Lord Krishna. I said, whose car is this? And he said, oh, this car belongs to His Holiness Beat Krishna Goswami Maharaj. That was my dream. That's the first time I ever heard that name. And in that dream, when I woke up, I thought, that's a really long name. Who has such long names in this time and age, That's a very long name. How will I remember it? That's the first time I heard the name. Second time I had the dream, I actually saw my spiritual master. He came and sat down and looked as if, exactly as he is. And his face was extremely clear, absolute clarity. It was like better than retina vision that we get. That was like a spiritual vision, which I cannot describe. But every line, it was extremely clear. Don't need these glasses. And he came and sat down. So why am I telling you this? I'm just trying to sort of point you in the direction that the spiritual master's relationship with the disciple is kind of eternal. He comes. So I didn't know him. And I never saw him and never met him. Never knew somebody like that existed. And yet he came into my dream and said hi. So it was, there's a little bird. He wants to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. Or maybe came to darshan Srila Prabhupada. He came yesterday too. He's a spiritual bird. Actually, these birds, they get spiritualized. You know why? Because they've been eating prasadam. And these are remnants of devotees. Not sure about that one, but these birds, these animals, they living entities, they eat remnants of devotees, what we eat, and then they get bhakti. Just like that, they get bhakti. And so then they come and they darshan the deities and darshan Prabhupada. Because this is what Narad Muni had gone through. Narad Muni was a 5-year-old boy, and he had eaten remnants from all the Rishi Munis, the sages. They are devotees of the Lord. And so when Narad Muni ate the remnants of those rishis, he became Narad Muni in his next life. That's how he did it, just by eating prasadam remnants. So whenever our spiritual masters come, we fight for the remnants. I've got some in my fridge, by the way, of my remnants of my spiritual master when he comes. Because every drop is really, really precious. Who knows what you'll be in your next life just by eating the remnants. Deviating from this, but that's okay. One Mataji in New Zealand, she was washing the dishes. She always wanted to wash. This is real life situation. This is how I came into Krishna consciousness, my journey and my experiences. The Mataji was very anxious to get all the devotees' plates and wash it. And I was like, why is she so, she jumps up to. She took the plates to the kitchen, then she cleaned them up with her fingers. She ate it. I was like, whoa. Because I was only new to Krishna consciousness, and we don't take remnants from somebody else's plates. I mean, there's things like corona and God knows what else, you think germs, and you won't eat it. But she had no problem with that. She's a really great devotee, by the way. But getting remnants. So maybe the bird here must have been, I normally, we're not supposed to do this, feed the birds, because they become a nuisance. So I'm actually declaring it right here in public in Mayapur TV. But I happen to, when I'm outside and the birds are surrounding me, I give them some rice because from my plate. Because I think, not because I'm giving them my Mahaprasad, but it's because I think that Lord Krishna sent them, they are hungry. So I shouldn't be so greedy and eat everything in front of the birds while they're watching me. So I give them a little bit something. But I make sure I don't mess up the place. I put it in the garden or something where they can go and eat. And then it stays in the garden and turns into manure if they. So I don't mess up the car park. But these birds, they are coming to see Prabhupada and coming to see the deities because they've been eating remnants of devotees. That's why. That's a good thing. So we'll come back to the actual thing that we were talking about. The disciple and spiritual master bond. It's eternal. Mine came in my dream randomly, just randomly, and said hi and said, I'm coming. And then 2 weeks later, when Mataji forced me to, tricked me. She didn't force me, she tricked me to go to a program, which I didn't want to go because I thought it was one of those bogus gurus coming from India. And he wasn't really a bogus guru from India. He was white, Western. And he was from America. And he sat there on the sofa and he looked exactly like the person in my dreams 2 weeks ago. When I asked the name, they said it's Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And I said, that's the long name that Krishna said his car belonged to. So I kind of put two and two together, 2 consecutive dreams. The first time I heard his name, the second time I saw his face. Then I realized later, after so many years of, first of all, I asked him, what's the meaning of this? What were you doing in my dream? Who are you? How can you come randomly? I've never seen you in my life. Wow, this is the first time I ever met you is in my dream. So then, kind of know later that the disciple-guru relationship is eternal. That was proof to me. I didn't need any further proof after that. And then my spiritual master joked with me. He said, well, in your previous life, you didn't listen to me. That's why you are here. You're back. Haribol Gurudev, I'm back. I never made it. So who knows in what life I was there, in what yuga. It could have been many, many cycles ago, like Dwapar and, Satyug and Treta and Kalyug. How many of those cycles passed before I met my Guru again? Who knows? So the lesson, the moral of the story is when you get Krishna conscious, grab it with both hands. When you get a Guru, never ever let go. And always follow the instructions and never deviate. And make sure you don't come back. Because goodness knows how many cycles of this life you're going to go through. So if you happen to meet somebody who has been instrumental in getting you to meet your Guru Maharaj, they've done a very big task, a very big deed. You always should be respectful of that. Like I always pay my respects to the devotees who got me to meet my spiritual master and the lady who tricked me into going to this program so I could see my spiritual master. It's a very good thing. So those tricks are really good. Whoever gives you the message of Krishna. There are different kinds of gurus, by the way. One is, the example that in Dhruva Maharaj example, who was Dhruva's stepmother? Who remembers her name? Suruchi, yes. Suruchi was something like a guru to him because she showed him the path. She said, if you want to sit on your father's lap, you have to be born through my, womb. And so, go and find a way. So Dhruva Maharaj was so emotionally traumatized that he didn't have the right to sit on his own father's lap. What to do? He went and asked his mother, Suniti, who said, go to the forest and ask Lord Vishnu. So that was his path. That was a light, just came on. And he went and found Lord Vishnu. And not only did he get the right to receive his father's love, he actually got an entire planet, which is never annihilated. The Dhruva planet. So Suniti and Suruchi, his stepmother, was like a guru. He showed him the paths. That's a guru, as a mentor. There's whoever triggers you to find the Lord, whoever or whatever anyone says to find you, to help you find Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's your guru, in one sense. That was one of the classes I was listening to. So, A guru's disciple relation is eternal, and the guru, to execute the wishes of the spiritual master, the guru, to execute the wishes of his spiritual master, is ready to lay down his life. That's the really beautiful part. Is ready, prepared to lay down his life. That's the mode of servitude. And Prabhupada gave us perfect example. He suffered heart attacks when he was in the ship on his way to America. How many heart attacks? He's prepared to put his life on the line. And many devotees have done that just to do book distribution in countries like Russia and other places. They've been thrown in the jail. Their lives are in danger when they do that to carry out the mission of the spiritual master. That's a guru. And that's the kind of footsteps we have to follow. So, that's one thing. And that, actually, that's the secret of success, to follow such a guru. The secret of success, that is it, to follow such a guru. So if you want to know how to be a successful devotee, you have to follow such a guru, bona fide. And there is only one way, singular, only one way you can see the personality of Godhead. If you want to see Krishna, there's only one way. Through the spiritual master. No other way. Bona fide spiritual master. So if anyone is aspiring to see Lord Krishna personally, in person, you have to follow someone like Srila Prabhupada. That kind of guru. And that's the only way. There's no other way. Imagine that. The secret. So, that is the lesson of the day. I've got some very nice nice notes which I haven't been able to read all of it. But I'll quickly tell you what other things a guru does in a few minutes. What the guru's function is. First, the guru, very importantly, he teaches you the three aspects of relation to Krishna, which is the sambandha, avidya, and prayojana. Sambandha is the knowledge. He gives you the knowledge. Second, avidya, he gives you the way to Krishna, how to apply that knowledge. And third, he tells you what happens when you get to Krishna. And the guru is there to greet you when you reach back to Godhead. Welcome to Godhead. And this is what you do. So he teaches all those things. And the guru also engages the disciple in service, devotional service, according to their psychophysical nature. In other words, whether they are a Brahmin, whether they are a Kshatriya or Shudra or Vaishya. It doesn't mean one is less or more, by the way. It just means you are different. Some people are prone to teaching, others are prone to making money, others are artistic, linguistic, some good in cooking, kirtans, whatever. Whatever your psychophysical nature is, the guru engages you in that service. So these are some of the functionalities. And he teaches you about those three aspects. And the guru is there to guide you at every stage. Whether you are in avidya, prayojana, or sambandha, whichever level you are at. And the guru is the primary source of shiksha. So that is why we worship our guru, even more than Krishna, even more. And so disrespect to the spiritual master is probably the stupidest thing anyone could ever commit, stupidest mistake that anyone could ever make. But it is one of the biggest aparadhs as well. So be thankful to whoever brought you to Krishna consciousness. And be thankful to whoever shows you the way. And because someone like Srila Prabhupada is the only way you can see Krishna. There is no other way. So that was the lesson of the day. I hope we all learn from this. I'm learning from this particular research myself today. And I find that I appreciate my spiritual master more and more every day. every day. It's always unlimited. And hopefully, we can all aspire to do what our spiritual master has guided us to do, is that never return in this body again or in a material body again, and try to get back to Godhead, or try to reach Krishna in Krishna's service. Thank you for listening. Any comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu. Yes. 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 Okay, so the question is what was it? Expansion of Krishna, and another one is the plenary portion of Krishna. And what is the difference? We may have remembered in the last class we talked, and I said the word was, what is it? A Swachatma, which means Krishna's expansions or plenary portions. Is just like gold, but turned into like an earring. It remains gold. So whether it's a direct expansion, plenary expansion, any expansion, still Krishna. So no difference. Krishna remains the same. The only thing that changes is his functionality. In other words, he came as Kapil Muni, as a son of Devahuti and Kardama Muni. That was the function. But he is still Krishna, 100% with all his qualities, full qualities. So plenary expansion or direct expansion, in this regard, I would take it is how it is mentioned in context, the meaning of it. Directly Krishna means with 100% of Krishna's qualities. Even if it is plenary expansion, which means like an expansion from the original Krishna, still Krishna. Just like gold has been transferred to an earring or a piece of jewelry, still gold. Like the ray of the sun and the sun, still one and the same. So the origin is the same. That is my understanding. With full qualities of Krishna. Yes. Class, yeah. Yes, correct. Yes, he didn't meet, Srila Prabhupada didn't meet Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur often as the other disciples. But whatever meetings he did have with his spiritual master, he took it as his life and soul. One of them was, why don't you preach to the Western world? And he did. That same instruction was given to his godbrother too. And they did not take that instruction as seriously as the other godbrother. The instruction that Srila Prabhupada took was very serious. He was absolutely serious and determined to carry it out. So he was successful, whereas the other godbrother wasn't. So we can actually apply that to us as well. I mean, what our spiritual master tells us, the same instructions to all his disciples. All. He sits here and he says to all of us, chant your rounds, follow the regulative principles, do your service, all the same things. The difference is how one disciple takes those instructions to the next. One disciple might say, okay, well, I'll, not chant today. Or maybe I will, bend the rules a little bit. The other disciple will be like, oh no, it's my spiritual master, I should do it. On our level, I'm talking about our small level. Srila Prabhupada's level is very high. He changed the world. He took it very seriously and he changed the world. So it's up to us how we take these instructions and how we conduct ourselves. And the key to that is desire, your own personal desire. If you desire to carry out those instructions 100%, you will be a true devotee, a perfect devotee. If you desire to be lesser than that, then that's what you will be. So it really depends on each one of us individually, our desire. It's our desire. Any other comments, questions? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Where Krishna was cheated. Krishna is a cheat of cheats. So he said that in the Bhagavad Gita. And the question is, whether Krishna, is there any instance where Lord Krishna was cheated? The only time that I can think of where Krishna was cheated is by Srimati Radharani in those games that they play. But other than the serious cheating, in my knowledge, no one has ever cheated Krishna. Because one of Krishna's name is victory. His victory. He always wins. There is never an instant where he lost, ever. Another name synonymous with Krishna is victory. He is Ajaya. He is Vijaya. So, no, to answer in my knowledge, no, no one has ever cheated Krishna. Unless he wants to be cheated. Sometimes he wants to be, like in his dramas when he plays, Those gopis love to cheat him. But that's, he's playing. And those pastimes are something else. Like one of the times was when Radharani sometimes is jealous of Lord Krishna's flute. Why? Because the flute goes to his lips. And she doesn't like it sometimes. Those are his pastimes. So she tries to steal the flute. And sometimes she says, the flute, it steals the gopis' minds. We can't do our work. He's always playing the flute and, disturbing our minds and us. And we have to run to him and, dance to his tune. We don't like it. So we must steal the flute from him to avoid him from playing the flute and music and disrupting our daily life. We're going to steal the flute. So Radharani, what she does, she went one day and spoke very sweetly to Krishna. And she enticed him. And so Krishna was so engrossed in Radharani's beautiful words, very sweet words, that he left his flute down on the floor, and Radharani quickly grabbed the flute and hid it, unbeknown to Krishna. But then there is nothing that escapes Krishna in my mind. So he must have known that she's quietly stealing so cheating him of his flute. And she took his flute, took it home, and the gopis kind of passed it around. Krishna said, give it back. Nobody gave it back to him. So then Krishna devised a plan to get his flute back. The flute had actually gone to Jatila and Kutila, those two. They're just like stepmothers and stepsisters. They're very bad. Radharani's mother-in-law and sister-in-law. So the flute went into the hands of Radharani's mother-in-law, and she wouldn't give it back. So then, who was it? Purnamasi? She's the old lady, and Vrinda Devi, they all got together and concocted this plan. They sent this monkey into the mother-in-law's house, and the monkey raised all kinds of mayhem, and the mother-in-law was throwing stuff at the monkey. Go away, and she picked up the flute and she threw the flute at the monkey. And then she threw the flute at the monkey, and then the flute, the monkey took, and then Krishna got it from the monkey or something like that. It happens. So Krishna got his flute back. But those are some of the things they cheat Krishna, Or the gopis will say, well, dance a little bit for us in this way, and then we'll give you some yogurt. So he dances. So Krishna allows himself to be cheated. And they're playing dice, gambling. Do not gamble, by the way. But Radharani and Krishna, they love to play checkers or dice. So she throws the dice. I don't know the game. But in that one also, Radharani can cheat Krishna in this. He allows himself to be cheated in the game of dice. Those are the instances that I can remember Krishna is cheated. But any other times, no. He's always on the mark, and he knows everything that's going on. He never is cheated his victory. Okay, so that ends our class for this morning. Thank you for listening. Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki jai.